Now we introduce the concept of an initial boundary value problem with a simple experiment, and we will see that what kind of equation is used to describe that situation. Then we will complicate the situation and we will see how partial differential equation changes with the new situation and what new parameters are involved when the situation is no more simple as compared to previous one. So what is an IBVP or initial boundary value problem? So we are going to describe it using a simple heat flow experiment. Suppose we have a simple experiment that we break into steps. So step 1 is so we take a copper rod, okay, not exactly the rod but a copper tube, hollow tube from the inside, which has length is about 2 meter, which is reasonably long, and copper is because of the metal, so heat can conduct, and the diameter is 2 centimeter, and we make the setup that the sides are insulated, which is like this. For example, if we have a copper tube whose length is 2 meter, diameter is 2 centimeter, and we pour some sort of insulation inside the rod so that heat can only transfer in one direction. In other words, heat can flow in and out of the rod at the ends but not across the lateral boundary. So we put the insulation here but not at the ends. So ends are still conductive. These ends are still conductive, but heat can travel on the rod in this direction but not inside. Not inside, which means that the lateral side, the lateral direction, heat cannot transfer. Heat can transfer only in x direction. This is the step 1, that we took a tube, a hollow tube, insulated it. Next step is, this is step 1. Now we are going to do something more. First we insulated the rod. We placed the rod in a fixed temperature for a very long time, such that when we the rod out of it, the temperature of whole rod is same, say 10 degrees centigrade. So in step 1, we take a rod, we insulated it in such a way that heat can transfer only in one direction. In step 2, we put the rod in some environment, a fridge or freezer maybe, something like that, a room with constant temperature, that the whole rod is placed for a long time. Then we take out the rod from the environment. The whole rod has the same temperature everywhere on it, every point on it. And we, for the simplicity, we take this temperature at 10 degrees centigrade. And we denote this temperature as T naught. So T naught is equal to 10 degrees centigrade. Now step 3. In step 3, we took the rod out. Of that environment. And we say that time T is equal to 0. When we took out the rod from that environment, we started our experiment and we say that the time T is equal to 0, and we place two temperature elements at both ends. Which make the temperature fix at the ends. We call temperature at one end as T1 and other end as T2. T1 for example is 0 degree centigrade and T2 is 100 degree centigrade. So in step 3, we took the rod out from that environment and we placed two temperature elements at both ends, which makes the rod, the temperature at the end fixed. If we say one end named as 1, so we call the temperature at that end is T1, which is 0 degree centigrade, and temperature on the other end is T2, which is 100 degree centigrade. And if the temperature is differ from the prescribed value, we have a strong heating or cooling element which adjusts the temperature accordingly. So temperature cannot be changed. Temperature will always be 0 degree centigrade at one end and always be 100 degree centigrade at the other end. Let me make a figure of this experiment. If we have a rod here, we fix two temperature element here. And we have thermostats. Thermostat is a device which is used to measure the temperature. This is at 100 degrees centigrade. This is at 0 degrees centigrade. This is again a temperature element. These temperature elements basically maintaining the temperature at the end. So the temperature will always be 0 at this end, will always be 100 degrees centigrade at the other end, and we constantly monitor these temperature through the screen. So in step 4, we monitor the temperature profile of the rod on some display. So this is the display. And this is step 4. We see temperature profile on display. So what is going on the display? So this is temperature. We are denoting the temperature by U, and this is time. So initially the temperature profile is like this. T1, this is 100, this is 0, this is T2. Initially the temperature is here, T0, because in step 2 we put the temperature, we put the rod in at fixed temperature which is T0, which was 10 degrees centigrade. So when we measure the temperature, first we will see this line which shows that the whole rod has temperature 10 degrees centigrade. Then what is going? That this T1 is increasing and this T2 is decreasing. So we will see the temperature profile will change from the straight line to something this. At the end it is 0 degrees centigrade, but when it comes near the 10 degrees centigrade, there is a increase in temperature from 0 to 10. So this portion of the rod will have some greater temperature than 0 degrees centigrade, but less temperature than 10 degrees centigrade. Then after this point, the rod has 10 degrees centigrade, but near the other end, the temperature drops down from 100 to 10 degrees centigrade, and it is something like this. After a very long time, we will see that the temperature will be like this, because we have fixed the ends, but we did not fix the temperature in between. It was initially 10 degrees centigrade, but later on when we let it for a very long time, then the temperature distributed uniformly along the whole rod. So after that there is no change in the temperature. So we say that this state as a steady state temperature. This state we call steady state. A steady state is a state which is not changing with the time. The first one, which was represented by 10 degrees centigrade, was initial state. Then when it changes from this to this is we called transient state. Transient state is which is changing with time. Then when it becomes uniformly distributed after a very long time, this is called the steady state. Steady state is a state which is not changing with the time. Now our discussion is completed. So I hope that you have understood the experiment. What we have done is that I repeat it. We took a rod, a hollow rod, we insulated it from the inside but not on the ends. So heat can transfer when we apply the temperature element, heat can transfer in one direction only, but cannot transfer in the lateral direction. Then we put that insulated rod in some fixed environment, for example 10 degrees centigrade, and we call it T naught, that temperature T naught. For a very long time we put the rod inside that temperature so that the whole rod has the same temperature everywhere on it, which is 10 degrees centigrade. Then we take out that rod from that environment, we put two temperature elements on both sides. One is T1, which is 0 degrees centigrade, the other one we put 100 degrees centigrade, and we constantly monitor it so that the temperature remains fixed at the ends but not fixed in the center of the or in between those points. We constantly monitor those temperature profile in a display. What we saw, first we see a straight line which shows that the whole temperature is 10 degrees centigrade. Then we see a transient state in which we see that the temperature near the end is changing but between the rod is same. After a very long time we see that the temperature is uniformly distributed from 0 degrees centigrade to 100 degrees centigrade in the form of a straight line. We call that state as steady state. Now the behavior of the heat distribution in that rod can be modeled by a partial differential equation. Since there is only one direction in which heat is moving, so the equation in the simplest form can be written as the mathematical model of this heat flow experiment is three types of equations are needed to describe this experiment. Number one, the partial differential equation. So number one, we need the partial differential equation that can describe the physical phenomena of heat flow, how heat is flowing through the rod. But this partial differential equation cannot give the right answer without the other two equations. One is boundary condition describing the physical nature of our problem on the boundaries. And the third one is the initial condition that describing the physical phenomena at the start of the experiment. So three types of equations we need to model this heat flow experiment. Number one is the partial differential equation. Number two is the boundary conditions in the form of equation. And number three, the initial conditions at the start of the experiment. If we have these three equations, we can know that how heat is distributing inside the rod in x direction or one direction. So by this experiment, we have taken the idea of initial boundary value problem. So in our experiment, we are solving the heat flow problem. We have the boundary values and we have the initial value. At the start, what is the temperature? At the boundary, what is the temperature? We have a differential equation, and now we can say that how temperature is distributing, or heat energy is distributing through the rod. Now I tell you how we write this. We have PdE as ut is equal to uxx. Also we have alpha square. X is less than L greater than 0. This is the length of the rod. And T, because we have two parameters here, we have to define X, we have to define T. T is less than infinity and greater than 0. So partial differential equation will show the solutions after you start the experiment and before it reaches the steady state. If t is equal to infinity, it will be in the steady state solution. We write the boundary conditions as, in that case, we have fixed temperature. In next lecture, we will see that there are three types of boundary conditions, but here we have fixed temperature at the boundary. So we see that U, we are going to represent temperature by U. So U at 0, which is the position of X, and at time t is t1, u at L, another end. So this was our rod 0 to L. At 0, temperature is T1. At L, the temperature is T2 on the other side. So these are the BCs, boundary conditions. The initial condition, there is only one initial condition, is the temperature in the whole rod, because X represents the whole rod. This is total X at time 0. So since the temperature is the function of position and time, so we represent here the position, whole position, and time 0 was 10 degrees centigrade, or generally we call it T0. So the initial condition, initial temperature was T0 at the start of the experiment. Boundary condition means that the temperature at the boundary of the rod, in our case, it becomes 0 degrees centigrade and 100 degrees centigrade. And what is alpha? Alpha basically is the constant. Alpha is the constant and it represents is equal to K upon gamma rho. Alpha is the constant, which is K upon gamma rho. And it is the thermal diffusivity. It is called the thermal diffusivity, which is different for the different material. So capital K is thermal conductivity. Of course, it is different for the brass, it is different from the copper, it is different from any other metal. The thermal conductivity is a property of the material. Then rho is mass per unit volume. For the heat equation, the simplest heat equation, we consider that this is the constant, which means that the material is homogeneous in whole the rod. It is not a mixture of two different materials, and the mass per unit volume is same everywhere on the rod. So this is rho. And the third thing is gamma. Gamma is the specific heat, which is again the constant for the particular material. So this alpha is equal to K upon gamma rho, and this alpha is known as the thermal diffusivity, which is different for the different materials. Now we have said that we will start with a simple experiment. We will see the partial differential equation that described that experiment. Then we will change and we will modify the experiment, make it more complicated, and we will see that how the partial differential equation changes with these modification. So for that simple experiment, it was this one. So the assumption of this experiment was the heat is flow in only one direction. So what happened if we allow the heat loss in the lateral direction as well. We do not insulate the rod. In that case, the partial differential equation will be like this. So if we allow heat diffusion in lateral direction as well, the PDE will be modified as so the new form of the heat equation will become like this. Ut is equal to alpha square Uxx, which is the problem for the one directional heat loss or heat flow. But if we allow the heat flow in the lateral direction, then this external parameter is also added in the equation, and the equation will be modified in that form. And beta is the constant, is the large constant as compared to alpha square. Now, again, we have assumed in previous experiment that the temperature is fixed at the ends and temperature is not generating, there is no any generation of temperature within the rod. So if we put a temperature element or we put a heat source in the rod, between the rod, then there will be another parameter added in the equation. So we make the situation more complex by adding a heat source within the rod. So in this case, if we are not allowing heat flow in lateral direction and we are allowing heat flow in only one direction but with generation of heat within the rod, then the partial differential equation becomes so there is some additional function of x of t, x and t, and that makes the equation non-homogeneous. Non-homogeneous and difficult to solve as well. So this is another complication we have added.